I'm 36, female. I've been married to my husband, Jake, 38, male, for 11 years. We live in Oregon, have a pretty calm life, both work full-time, no kids. That last part is what this post is really about. I have always known I did not want to have children. It's not that I hate kids or anything, I just never felt that desire to be a mom. I like my freedom, my hobbies, my space, and honestly, parenting looks exhausting. Jake's the same way. We talked about it early when we were dating and agreed we did not want children. And that was that. Now, Jake has a younger sister named Karen, 34, female. She's been married to Rob, 35, male, since she was 21, and they have one daughter, Emily, 18, female. Karen and I never really got along. She's the kind of person who thinks her way is the only way. She did everything by the book, got married young, had a baby, quit her job to be a stay-at-home mom, joined every PTA and mom's group possible. She never came out and said it, but she always made me feel like I was less of a woman because I did not want to be a mom. She'd make weird comments at family dinners, like how being a mother was the highest calling, or how women who did not have kids must feel so empty. I usually ignored it or brushed it off because she's Jake's sister and we only see them during holidays or birthdays. Over the years, Emily grew up and Karen got more intense about her parenting. She did not let Emily have sleepovers, did not let her wear makeup until she was 17, controlled what music she listened to, barely let her use social media. She homeschooled Emily for a while, and even when Emily went to public school, Karen would show up unannounced to talk to teachers and ask about her daughter's friend group. The girl could not breathe. Karen was obsessed with keeping Emily pure, whatever that means. Because I didn't have kids and worked part-time for a few years when I was freelancing, I ended up babysitting Emily a few times when she was little. But once Karen found out I told Emily I did not want children of my own, she flipped out. She said I was being a bad influence and told Jake's whole family that I was poisoning her daughter's mind with my selfish lifestyle. After that, I was never left alone with Emily again, which, fine by me. I didn't want to be involved in whatever helicopter parent circus Karen was running. Karen basically painted me as some irresponsible party girl who did not want to grow up. She'd say things like, I had too much free time because I did not know what real life was like. It didn't matter that I had a job, paid bills, cooked, cleaned, did all the normal adult stuff. In her mind, being a mom was the only adult thing that mattered. I became the cautionary tale in her world, the example of what not to be. She even told Emily once that I ran away from responsibility and that people like me end up old and alone. Then, a few months ago, everything blew up. Emily got pregnant. She's 18, just finished high school, and apparently had a boyfriend no one knew about. Karen found out when Emily was already 3 months along. The news dropped like a bomb at a family barbecue. Karen was hysterical, crying in the bathroom, screaming that her daughter was ruined. Rob was silent. Jake and I just stood there in shock while everyone else tried to calm Karen down. The next few weeks were chaos. Karen tried to convince Emily to give the baby up for adoption. Emily refused. Then Karen threatened to kick her out. Then she cried and begged her to change her mind. Then she started posting weird, cryptic things on Facebook about betrayal and failure. Everyone in the family was on edge. Emily moved in with a friend for a while and stopped talking to her mom. Karen would call Jake, crying about how her perfect little girl was gone and how this was my fault. Yes, my fault. Somehow, because I had the audacity to live a child-free life and not go to church and not bake cookies, her daughter got pregnant. Then one evening, Karen showed up at our house. I was alone since Jake was working late. She was a mess, no makeup, puffy eyes, hair all over the place. I invited her in because I was worried. She sat down and started rambling about how she had no one to turn to. She said Emily was still not speaking to her, and the baby's father did not want to be involved. She said Rob was barely helping, and she was drowning. Then she said something that made me freeze. She asked if I could help raise the baby. She said I had so much free time and maternal instincts even if I do not see it. She said the baby needed a strong woman in his life and that Emily trusted me. She begged me to be there during doctor visits, help with baby stuff, maybe even move in for a bit after the birth to help Emily adjust. I did not even know what to say. After years of being treated like I was some kind of bad influence, now I was good enough to help raise her grandchild. Suddenly I was maternal enough. Suddenly my lifestyle was not selfish. It was useful. I was floored. She sat there crying and kept saying how sorry she was, how she was scared, how she did not know what to do. I told her I'd talk to Jake and we'd think about how to support Emily, but I made no promises. When Jake came home and I told him everything, he was livid. He said he could not believe the nerve she had. He also felt bad for Emily, but said we needed to set boundaries. A few days later, Emily called me. She was calm, surprisingly. She apologized for all the drama and said she knew her mom had been unfair to me. She said she did not want me to be a babysitter or a co-parent, but just wanted someone she could talk to. I agreed to meet her for lunch and we have been in contact since. She's scared but seems determined to figure things out. But Karen? She has not stopped. She keeps texting and calling, begging me to get involved more. She says things like I owe it to the family, that it's my duty as an aunt. She keeps pointing out that I do not have kids, so I have time. She even brought up how I used to babysit Emily as a toddler, as if that means I signed up to raise her child too. She keeps playing the guilt card, saying she just wants what's best for her grandchild. I talked to Jake again and we both are trying to figure out how much involvement we are comfortable with. I don't want to abandon Emily, especially when she has no one else, but I also do not want to become some default caretaker just because I chose not to have my own kids. It feels like Karen's using my child-free life as a way to dump responsibility on me. Like now that her parenting plan went off the rails, I'm supposed to come in and clean it up. I can't lie. There's a part of me that's angry. For years I was the outcast, the bad example. I was not invited to family baby showers, was left out of mom conversations, and was basically treated like a failed woman now that they're in crisis. Suddenly I'm useful? Suddenly I'm needed because I have time and patience and do not have kids of my own? It feels manipulative. And while I care about Emily and do not want her to feel alone, I did not sign up for raising anyone's baby. Emily's due in a few months. She's back at her mom's house now. But things are still tense. Karen keeps trying to plan the nursery and act like everything is normal. But it's clear she's overwhelmed. She still wants me to be there every step of the way. She even mentioned putting my name on some emergency contacts and hinted that I could do some late night feedings once the baby arrives. I shut that down fast, but she keeps pushing. Now some people in Jake's family are taking Karen's side. They're saying I'm being cold and selfish, that family helps each other, that I'm lucky to be in a position where I can help. One of his cousins said I was wasting my womanhood by not having kids and that this was my chance to make a difference. It's exhausting. I feel like no matter what I do, I'm going to be the villain. If I help too much, I'll get sucked into a role I never wanted. If I back off, I'm heartless. So now I am stuck. I want to be there for Emily, not just because she's family, but because she deserves a better support system than the one her mom gave her. But I also want to protect my time, my marriage, and the life I have built. I did not choose to be child-free so that I could end up raising someone else's baby just because they made poor choices and now do not know how to handle the fallout. So here I am. I'm trying to find that line between being supportive and being taken advantage of, between being a kind aunt and being a substitute parent, between caring and getting roped into something I never wanted. AITA for refusing to help raise my niece's baby just because I chose not to have kids of my own. Update 1. Hi again. Things got messier than I thought they would. I've been keeping my distance from Karen ever since the baby was born 2 weeks ago, but it feels like she's getting more unhinged by the day. At first I thought maybe she'd finally understood boundaries, but that idea flew out the window the moment she showed up at our house with the baby in her arms and diaper bags in her trunk like we were some kind of backup nursery. Jake was not home and I was so caught off guard I just stood there while she talked a mile a minute about how she had not slept, how Emily was exhausted, how no one was helping, how she just needed 2 hours of rest. I did not even get a chance to say no. She dropped the baby carrier on my couch and walked out. I stood there in complete silence, holding a screaming 2-week-old that was not mine, while Karen sped off like I was some emergency drop-and-run mission. I had to call Jake at work and explain what just happened, and he rushed home. We fed the baby, calmed him down, and sat there trying to figure out what to do. Emily called about an hour later and apologized over and over. She said she had no idea her mom did that and that she was dealing with her own panic attack when Karen left. Apparently, Karen said she was just going out for groceries. We drove the baby back to their place, and Emily was visibly shaking when she opened the door. Karen was not home. I handed her the baby and told her if she ever needed help, she could call me directly, but only if it was something she chose and not her mom forcing it. She nodded and looked embarrassed. We left after making sure she was okay. The next day, Karen texted me like nothing happened. She said thanks for being there and that it was such a relief to know I could handle the baby when things got tough. I did not even respond. I was so pissed off that she thought dumping a newborn on me without asking was a reasonable thing to do. Then she texted again saying she had an idea she wanted to run by me. Turns out her big idea was that I come by every morning from 9 to 1 to help out while she and Emily got some rest. She said it would be easy for me since I work from home and do not have kids. She made it sound like I'd be doing something noble and meaningful, like she was giving me the chance to experience motherhood without the stretch marks. I said no. She did not take it well. She kept sending long voice messages crying, saying she could not believe how selfish I was being, how she used to think I was cold, but now she really saw the truth. Then she brought Jake into it, texting him about how his wife was ruining their family, how this baby could grow up without love because of me. Jake told her to back off and blocked her number for a while. For a few days it was peaceful, and then she started using other people to reach out. Jake's mom called and asked if we could just help a little, maybe once a week. His aunt messaged me on Facebook about how motherhood is a community effort and that women without kids are still part of that village. I ignored everyone. Then Emily called again, and this is where it got weird. She sounded like she was reading off a script. She said she was scared, tired, and needed me. Then she said her mom told her I owed it to her because I helped create this situation by making child-free life look so easy and attractive. That one hit me hard. I did not even know what to say. I told her I'd always been there if she needed me as a person, not as free labor, and that I cared about her, but I was not a third parent. She cried and said she understood, and I believe she did. But the guilt from all directions is getting unbearable. Last weekend, Karen showed up at our house again, and this time Jake was home. She did not have the baby, just herself, and she was shaking with anger. She started yelling about how I was abandoning my family, how I did not know what real love was, and how one day I'd regret wasting my life, being childless and alone. Jake lost it. He told her to leave and never pull a stunt like that again. He even said we might need to cut ties if she kept crossing boundaries. Karen left in tears. Now I'm getting pity messages from Jake's relatives about how Karen's been through so much and I should try to be the bigger person. It's exhausting. Every time I check my phone, I feel anxiety. Every message feels like another guilt trap. I have been second-guessing myself a lot lately. Not because I think I should raise this baby, but because it's insane how quickly people will decide that your time, energy, and peace mean nothing when they want something from you. This past week, Emily has not called or texted. I hope she's doing okay. I know she's in a tough spot, and I do not blame her for being overwhelmed. But Karen? I don't think she'll ever stop trying to rope me in. She's acting like this is my redemption arc. Like this baby is the purpose I have been missing. I just wanted to live my life, be a decent aunt, have boundaries, and not be villainized for making a different choice. Instead, I feel like I have been cast in a role I never auditioned for, and now everyone's mad I won't play it. Update 2. It's been a weird couple of weeks. I had not heard from Karen since she stormed out of our house crying that day. I thought maybe she finally realized we weren't going to play along with her fantasy, but no. Turns out she was just regrouping because now she's trying something completely different. She switched from guilt trips to pretending like we are best friends again. It started with a random delivery, a box of muffins. No note. Just muffins on our doorstep. Then the next day she sent me a text saying she hoped I was doing well and that she missed talking to me like nothing ever happened. I didn't respond. Then she sent another message asking if I'd like to come over for tea just to catch up. Still no mention of the baby or the last few months of insanity. It felt fake as hell. Jake and I agreed not to engage. We have been trying to keep things peaceful, especially because we did not want to isolate Emily. But a few days later, Emily texted me. She said she was feeling down and just wanted to go for a walk or something to get out of the house. I agreed. I picked her up and we just walked around the park for a bit. She looked tired, like she had not slept in days. She told me the baby's colicky and barely sleeps more than an hour at a time. She said Karen keeps blaming her for everything and keeps reminding her how she threw her whole life away. Emily cried quietly while talking. I did not push her to talk. But she finally admitted that she sometimes just wants to leave and disappear. She said she loves her son, but everything else feels like too much. I offered to take her and the baby for a day or two, just to give her space from her mom. She said she'd think about it. Next day, Karen called me from an unknown number. I did not answer. She left a voicemail saying she was glad Emily and I reconnected, and she knew I'd come around eventually. She said she was planning ahead and wanted to talk about a schedule. I did not call back. An hour later, I got a calendar invite from Karen. No joke. A Google Calendar invite titled Baby Care Help, with repeating dates every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. I stared at it for a full minute in disbelief. Who sends a custody schedule to someone who isn't involved? I declined it and blocked the email. Then I texted Emily and told her I was there for her, but I wouldn't be responding to anything from her mom. Emily said she understood and apologized again for everything. Then things got even more ridiculous. Karen called Jake's mom and asked her to stage a family meeting, like it was an intervention. She said I'm refusing to help in a time of crisis and the family needs to address the tension. Jake's mom actually called us and asked if we could just come to keep the peace. Jake flat out said no. But now his mom's acting all cold with us like we are the drama. It's wild how quickly the narrative turns when you stop letting people walk over you. A few nights ago, I got a surprise visit from Karen's friend, Linda. I barely know this woman. We have met maybe 3 times at family events. She showed up at our house with a baby gift basket and a big fake smile. She said she was dropping it off because Karen told her I was taking a more active role and everyone was so relieved. I told her I was not sure where Karen got that idea. She looked uncomfortable and said she was just trying to be supportive. Then she asked if she could use the bathroom and ended up staying for almost an hour talking about motherhood and community. It felt like a setup. I wouldn't be surprised if Karen sent her to spy or guilt me in person. The part that really pushed me over the edge, though, Karen posted on Facebook a photo of the baby with some long caption about how family is everything and how sometimes angels come into your life in the most unexpected ways. Then she tagged me. Me. She's never tagged me in anything before. I was furious. I untagged myself immediately. Jake commented under the post asking her to stop misrepresenting things, and she deleted the whole thing. Then she called Jake and left a voicemail crying about how he was embarrassing her publicly and how she was just trying to honor the help I had supposedly given. It was all so performative, like she wanted people to think I was involved so she could keep her reputation intact. Emily texted me again yesterday and asked if she could come over for a weekend with the baby. No Karen. I told her yes, but only if she promised not to let her mom show up uninvited. She agreed. I honestly just want to give her a safe space for a few days. I can see how tired she is, how lost she feels. And even though this isn't my mess, I can't ignore her completely. She's not the one who turned me into the villain. She's just trying to survive. Karen, on the other hand, is still trying to mold the story to fit her version of reality. I keep thinking about how different things would be if Karen had just treated me like a human being all these years instead of some failed woman. Now she's trying to act like we are allies, when all she ever did was judge and exclude me. It's too late for that. I'm not going to be her helper. I'm not going to be her savior, and I'm definitely not going to pretend like we are family just because she needs a break. I'm wondering now if letting Emily come over is going to trigger another round of nonsense from Karen. But I can't abandon the girl. I just have to figure out how to help her without letting Karen sink her claws back in. Update 3. Hi, it's been a while. A lot has happened, and honestly, I still can't believe how far this whole thing went. Emily and the baby did come stay with us for that weekend. She looked even more drained than before. She had a diaper bag, a backpack with just 2 outfits, dark circles under her eyes that made her look older than me. The baby was crying non-stop the first night, and Emily broke down around 2 a.m. She was on the floor in the hallway sobbing quietly, trying not to wake us up. I sat with her for over an hour. She kept saying she didn't know what she was doing and that she felt like a terrible mom. I told her no one knows what they're doing at first, but it gets better if she gets the right support. She said she did not feel safe at home anymore. Karen apparently screams at her almost daily now, picks apart everything she does and tells her she ruined their lives. The tension was so thick that even holding her own baby made her anxious. We told her she could stay longer if she wanted to. She was hesitant, kept checking her phone like Karen might burst through the door any second. But after the 3rd day, she relaxed a little. She even smiled once during breakfast, and it felt like a small win. Jake set up the guest room for her and moved the crib in there. It became her little space, and for the first time, she said she finally felt like she could breathe. I knew this would trigger Karen, and sure enough, she started blowing up both our phones. She went full dramatic mode again, texting things like, "You stole my daughter and you're turning her against me." She left 6 voicemails in one day, each one more unhinged than the last. We ignored all of them. Then she started messaging Emily directly, saying things like, "I hope you're happy ruining your family, and I can't believe you picked them over your own mother." Emily blocked her. That was huge. She said she needed space and wanted to figure things out without Karen manipulating her. A few days later, we took her to a free counseling center nearby that helps young mothers. She did not want to go at first, but after sitting in one session, she said it felt like someone had taken a weight off her chest. She started going once a week. She also applied for part-time jobs online and asked me to help her make a resume. We sat at the kitchen table one afternoon while the baby napped, and she typed out her first one. She was quiet for most of it, but when we finished, she looked proud, like she finally believed she could stand on her own. One morning, Karen showed up at our doorstep. I didn't even open the door. I just stood on the other side and told her through the wood that Emily did not want to see her right now. She started yelling, not even words. It's this weird high-pitched crying sound. Jake came out from the back and told her to leave or we'd call someone to come and get her. She stood there for a bit and then walked back to her car, sat there for a long time, and finally drove off. After that, she stopped trying to contact me, but she did start a campaign with the extended family. We started getting cold shoulders from Jake's cousins, weird looks at a birthday party, even a message from his aunt saying she was disappointed in how we'd alienated Karen. People really do not like it when you put up boundaries, especially when they're used to you being the quiet one. Emily decided to stay. She said she could not go back, not while Karen was still acting like she owned her. She's been living with us for a month now. She got a part-time cashier job and we help with the baby when we can, but it's clear she's taking responsibility. She gets up with him at night, she feeds him, she plays with him. It's not easy, but she's doing it. And she's good at it. Sometimes she asks me for advice, but mostly she figures it out on her own. She apologized again last week for how her mom used me all those years and for not speaking up sooner. I told her none of that was her fault. Karen has not changed. She's still posting weird cryptic stuff online about betrayal and fake family. She even put up a post calling herself a grieving mother and hinting that she lost her daughter to manipulative outsiders. I ignored it, but Jake's mom called us crying, saying she did not know what to believe anymore. We told her the truth, everything, the guilt trips, the schedule invite, the random baby drop-offs. She was quiet for a long time, and then she said Karen always had a way of turning things upside down when she was not getting what she wanted. I don't know what the future looks like. Maybe Karen will back off eventually. Maybe she won't. But I do know that Emily's finally starting to get better. She laughs more now. She plays music while she cooks. She kisses her baby on the forehead and says things like, "We're going to be okay." And for the first time in a long time, I believe she is actually going to be okay. Update 4. Hi, I guess this would be the last update I'm giving. Emily moved into a small apartment 2 blocks away last week. She's working more hours now and even started taking online classes. The baby's healthy and hitting milestones, and she looks more confident every day. We still see each other almost daily, but now it's on her terms. Karen has not made contact since the last blow-up, and honestly, it's been peaceful. I'm proud of Emily for stepping up and choosing a different path. It was not what any of us expected, but it feels right. I did not plan to be in this position, but I am glad I was there when she needed someone. Stay tuned for more stories from Our Girl Relationships.